So when it was time to actually kill the sons of Saul, then what did King David do? But King David spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the house oath that was between them, between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul. So what did he do? He grabbed other children of Saul, but he also grabbed children of the adultery children, because Micah actually belonged to him. And also the sister of Micah belonged to him. That was promised unto him. And then King Saul broke his promise. That was adultery in the first place anyway, because it says in the book of Deuteronomy 22 that if you break an engagement, right, one that is betrothed, right, and the woman was betrothed to David. What was it again? David, Saul's first daughter, promised. She was promised unto David here. Let me see. So Micah loved David. She was promised unto him. Wait, but and Saul gave Michal, his daughter, to wife. And then later on, he recounted it, and he took that woman, gave it to another. Let me see if I'm correct. Wait, let me see something. Merab. So verse 17. So it says right here is 1 Samuel 18:17. And Saul said to David, behold, my elder daughter Merab, her will I give thee to wife. So she's already betrothed. So it says right here, you can't. So betrothed means engaged. They was already engaged to marry, but then Saul, he lied. He did some devil shit right there. He did evil shit. But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given to Adriel the Meholathite, to wife. Okay, so that was already adultery. That's a sin unto death that he did right there, because it explains to you here. A virgin is betrothed to a woman, but in this case it's talking about rape. But you can't betroth a woman to one man and then give her off to another. That's adultery already. Yeah, but they didn't have sex. No, that don't matter. They're engaged. They was promised to be married. That's the engagement. Engaged to be joined together. They're on a path toward each other, to be joined onto each other through sex. And he broke that. So that's one. And then Michal, he broke that one too. He broke that. And if I'm correct, he actually laid with her, because he was in her room on her bed when she helped him escape out of her window. So it doesn't say that they have sex, but I would think they differ. I think they did. And then he gave them. So, but the king took off so this is 1 Samuel 21:8. But King David took the two sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bare unto Saul. So these are two sons of Saul, Armoni and Mephibosheth. This was another one, because this is Mephibosheth of Saul, and this is Mephibosheth of Jonathan. It's kind of confusing, because this one, Mephibosheth, was spared, and this Mephibosheth was killed. But this Mephibosheth was called later sorry. This Mephibosheth was called later something flying in it. Is dust. It's summertime, so stuff is flying around. The window's open. I see stuff flying around. Let me see here. Not this one. It is then therefore this one. 1 Chronicles 9. Here. His name is here Meribal. So Saul begot Jonathan, and Jonathan, sorry, and this one, and this one, and this one. And the son of Jonathan was Meribbaal, and Meribbaal begot Micah. Now, if you look it up, Micah is spelled different in the other chapters and stuff like that. Okay. And the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul. Michal didn't have children. So what did she do? She was mothering the children of another wife of Saul. Let me see here. Whom she brought up for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Meholathite. But it wasn't her. This was the Meholathite, this guy, he was actually the father of her sister, Merab. Merab. But Michal herself didn't have children. But she was like, not a surrogate mother neither. She was just like Naomi. Here. Just like Naomi. Root 4. It says that, verse 17, root 4 and 17 or 16. And Naomi took the child that was birthed from Ruth and laid it on her bosom and became nurse to it. This is what Micah did. Sarah did the same thing too before Isaac was born. And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, there is a son born unto Naomi. There wasn't a son born unto Naomi. The son was born unto her. But it was born unto Naomi because that was the ways of how our people worded things and took things, Just like how the caucus nowadays, but he's delusional. He believes that a man is a woman. So when you read an article, you would think it's talking about a woman, because he said she got hated and beaten and all that. He think it's about a bitch. It's not. It is a bitch. A man. It's talking about a man, But only when you in this day and age, you would understand it. And even then, it confuses you until you see a picture like, that's not a woman, So they have their delusions. But back in the days, it would look like a delusion, but it's not, because that's the customs and still the mannerisms, because her husband was dead, right? And her 2 sons were dead, which were her husband's seed, right? So she needed a seed, basically, to go forth and make a child with her daughter-in-law that was the wife of her son that died. So she needed a next of kin. So she went back to Judah and found a next of kin that was her husband's family member, because her husband and her 2 sons were dead, and therefore her husband and her 2 sons are the same seed as her husband's father, right? Because they all come from that house. So she wanted a man from that house of her husband, to make a child with Ruth, so that she can have a grandchild that would be from her father or her husband's bloodline. Stuff like that. I hope I explained that correctly. Good for you, And if you don't know, I did the 4 chapters anyway, so yeah, all of them. So that's that part. Right, so it says here, there is a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Okay, going on. So that is exactly what happened here, kind of. To a certain degree. But in this case, it was Merab, her sister. If I'm correct, it was 1 Samuel 18. Where was that one again? I don't know. 1 Samuel 18, I think. Anyway, I just had it. I think, it's over here. Oh, yeah, here. Merab. And she was with Adriel the Meholite. So these 2 were a couple, and they got children. But these children are adultery babies, basically. Right. So King David went and he took them. He took those children and 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she brought up for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Meholadite. And Barzillai was with Merab here. Boy, I need to... It's 19. Do I have it here? Boy. Let me just put this one. First Kings 18 and 19, if I'm correct, right? Right. Okay, got it. Let me put that there. Okay, cool. Okay, so enough of this, I think. So going back to over here. So it wasn't the lame and the thing he hated. He's talking about their gods. Basically, these are the ones. He hated idol worshippers. That's King David hated people with a perfect hatred. Even Israelites that were against Yahweh. So going on. He shall be made chief and captain, wherefore they said the blind and the lame shall not come into the house. Basically going into that. But King David had them in his house. He had them on the table, so he didn't hate him in the physical form. It's talking about their gods. It's talking about the people that are the worshippers of those type of things. Like I said, here I have precepts to show you that. And you can check it out for yourself if you have the time. So going on. So David dwelt in the fort, which is Zion, and called it the city of David. And David built round about from Milo and inward. Okay. So now 2 Chronicles chapter 5 verse 2. So let me reread it again, summary style. Jerusalem is called the city of David. And Zion is basically the stronghold thereof, right? In the physical form. But I'll get to the Zion part later because that's also another part of it. Another distinguishing thing also, right? Okay. I'll get to that, Lord willing, later. So now going to 2 Chronicles 5 and 2. Then Solomon assembled. Like I said, this is not for people that already... I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that don't know, so that they know what they're reading when they read it, so they have imaginations in their head. Because a picture is 1,000 words, right? Okay, cool. So when I talk about it, when I show you it, you can imagine it when I read it and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you pictures too. So that when you read it for yourself, then you have an image in your head. You know what I'm saying? Right. Then 2 Chronicles 5:2. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of the tribes, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel, unto Jerusalem, where the Jebusites used to be, to bring up the ark of the covenant of Yahweh out of the city of David, which is Zion. So now you'd be like, huh? What? What? What did it just say right here? Well, Jerusalem is where the fort was, where the Jebusites was. Okay, cool. So the Ark of the Covenant, of course, of the Lord, out of the city of David, which is Zion. Then he took it from there. This is not Bethlehem. It's crazy because it looks like it's talking about Bethlehem. But it's actually the place, like here. He took it there, and then where did he bring it to? Where did he bring it to? Because Solomon did that, right? King Solomon did that. So what did he do? Well, he actually brought it to here. So Genesis chapter 22 verse 2. And he said, Take now, the Heavenly Father said unto Abraham, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah. Remember that word. And offer him therefore a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which is many mountains there, which I will tell thee of. So what did he tell Abraham? Go to the land of Moriah, right? And then one of the mountains in the land of Moriah, once you're there, I'll tell you specifically which one you should go, walk upon, climb it, as you can say. climb it, yeah, and then on top of the mountain, I will. Then you need to do what I told you to do. Burn them there. Psalms 125:1. They that trust in Yahweh shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, because it's a mountain, and it's stable, and it's also a fort. In the city form, it is a fort that hasn't been beaten over 3,000 years. That's what Esau says, but yeah, I'll get to those pictures, those videos soon. Which cannot be removed, but abided forever, because you can't move a mountain. You can try if you want to. Maybe if Esau drops a bomb or something, like a nuke, it might be, I don't know. He might flatten it. He's not removing it though, like from side to side. Move it an inch or something like that. You're not doing that. You can only break it, But anyway, the Most High most likely is not going to allow that. But then again, He will allow it, because eventually the land of Israel will be nuked flat. I don't know. Maybe the Most High is going to protect that hill. I don't know. We will see. And the mountains of as the mountains are round. Oh, sorry. Read it again. Psalms 125:2. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so Yahweh is round about his people from thenceforth, even forever. And there are mountains around Jerusalem here. Second, I'll get a few pictures, like I said. 2 Chronicles 3:1. Then Solomon began to build the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah. So Jerusalem is in Mount Moriah, on one of the many mountains that were there. And Jerusalem is surrounded by many mountains, like it says in the land of Moriah, on one of the many mountains there, because it's an S. So then Solomon began to build the house, because he's the one that actually gathered them together, which is, I think it was here. Oh boy. I just read that he took them and gathered them together. Where was that again? Sorry, man. I lost it. Okay, I'll find it soon. I don't know. Let me go on. Wow. Okay, so he gathered them. Okay, then Solomon began to build the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah, where Yahweh appeared unto David. When did he do that? In the place that David had prepared, in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. Where was that? That was here. So what does it say here when he went to go there, when King David went to go there? So 1 Chronicles chapter 21 verse 15. And Yahweh sent an angel unto Jerusalem to destroy it. And as he was destroying, Yahweh beheld, and he repented him of the evil, and said to the angel that destroyed it, that destroyed, it is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel of Yahweh stood by the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. Here. And David lifted up his eyes, so he looked up and saw the angel of Yahweh stand between the earth and the heaven. And what was he doing? He was actually doing this. He was flying. He was standing between the earth and the heaven. It looked like they're standing, but they're not. He's flying. The earth, the angel was in the air, between the earth and the heaven. He was flying. Having a drawn sword in his hand, stretched over Jerusalem. Then David and the elders of Israel, who were clothed in sackcloth because of mourning and showing remorse, fell upon their face and all that type of stuff. And then, he went to go buy the threshing floor. So it's talking about that time. So now going back to over here. So he began to build that house there at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah, where Yahweh appeared unto David his father, in the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. So, Isaiah chapter 10 verse 32. As they yet remained at Nob that day, as yet shall he remain at Nob that day, he shall shake his hand against the mount of the daughter of Zion, right? Which are the people. The daughter of Zion is talking about the people that were there. The hill of Jerusalem. Now, Jerusalem was actually on a hill. Yeah? Zechariah chapter 8 verse 3. Thus saith Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and I will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, and it shall also be called the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain. So, this is twofold. It's talking about the people, yes, the mountain, the government, but it's actually talking about an actual mountain in a physical form also, as what it says right here. And it shows right here that Jerusalem was surrounded by mountains, actual physical mountains. And here, the land of Moriah, which is where Jerusalem is in. Jerusalem is in the land of Moriah, in Mount Moriah. There's many mountains there in Moriah, by the way, but Jerusalem was the one that they specifically picked. Well, the Heavenly Father picked it, actually. But the Jebusites were there, and they knew that place was a strategic place. I'm going to show you later on that they couldn't beat it. So, first, I just showed you, actually, in the time of Samuel. No, Joshua. The Benjamites couldn't beat them, and the Judites couldn't beat them, right? 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 4. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, where did he build it? And the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascend. And so what is ascend? Ascend is an upward slope and incline. It's talking about rising, going upward, but it's talking about climbing a mountain, because the definition, they screwed it up. They took it away from here. Ascend refers to the act of rising or climbing upward. That is the definition of the word ascend. Mounting upward, climbing a mountain. It actually said it in the other definition, man. They took it away. Let me see here, which is ascend. Definition Bible. A literal upward journey. See? That one, but loose from that. The act of moving upward or climbing toward a higher point. That is what it is. Right? So, and she also admired King Solomon his climb upward, by which he went up unto the house of Yahweh. There was no more spirit in her. Basically, it took her breath away. It's like she gave up on life. She didn't die, but she was like, I have literally nothing compared to you. You took my breath away. Literally, like, I don't know what to say. Everything I thought I had, I had to come see myself if you really had greater. And the things that she saw, she said, the rumors don't do you justice, because it's even worse. Not worse, more than what they told me that you had. And I had to see it for myself. So I came all the way here. So she brought stuff for King Solomon, but see, I think if I'm correct, King Solomon gave her stuff also, and then she left. It's in this chapter, if I'm correct. Now, going back to, so the point is, Jerusalem is not, well, let me go here. So it says right here, 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 1. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of the tribes, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel, unto King Solomon in Jerusalem, that they might bring up the ark of the covenant out of the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh out of the city of David, which is Zion. If I'm correct, I already read this, but in another place. Was it here? I have no idea anymore, boy. Wow. Here it is. Ha! I lost it. So, okay, cool. Wow. Can't believe that Alright. Well, I have enough precepts on this one already. You can read the precepts for yourself if you have the time. I'm not going to go over all of them. I did it in another video, multiple videos actually. But, yeah, I'll just leave that there. I don't know if I have it here. Okay, cool, cat. You can look this up for yourself if you have the time. But Jerusalem is Zion, and the city of David is actually Zion, but which is in Jerusalem. But when it says here, the city of Zion, here, when it says here, the city of David, which is Bethlehem, it's not a contradiction, because it looked like, you have a lot of errors, right? They love to battle scriptures. So they come with these things like, hey man, it's a contradiction. And then I look at it and Lord willing, I just go into it and stuff like that, and then I know that they could trip up other people with it, so I make a video about it. And then, yeah, share it with the ones that you think that, that's it. So that's why. That's in, where's that again? Second Esdras? I'm not trying to be sneaky, but I'm trying to be sneaky at the same time. Because I think I know better. Why? Because I don't want people to come around when I have stuff. You know what I'm saying? I want you to come around when there's nothing around. That's when you just come around. Yeah? But if I put something there for you to see, like a gold or some shining stuff, you're gonna come. And that is the flesh that brought you, it's not the spirit. So let me see here. I don't think it's this one actually. I think it's 12. Oh, is it this one? Yeah. No, that's not it. Then it must needs be 12. This one. Teach them to the wise of the people and stuff like that, who know us and may comprehend and keep these secrets. I'm not trying to be wise neither. It's just that, I think a few things. That's why. I have a few things in my head like, so why are you gay? Why are you here? Huh? Is it because I typed something fancy? Oh, click. No. I'm in the back of the bus type of nigga, so I don't want none. What do you do? Why are you gay? Huh? Why are you here? I mockingly make fun of people, boy. In my head. Or maybe in the physical form too, if you irritate me. So, But most of the time I do it in my head. It's because it's funnier that way. That way I get the laugh. Yeah. But let me go on. So it says Ephrathite. Okay, let me go back to, I think here, right? Micah chapter 5 verse 1. Now, gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He had laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with the rod upon the cheek. Because the Messiah is going to allow them to win. As until this day, they're winning. But thou, Bethlehem Ephrathah, wow, Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, Yahweh, that shall be ruler in Israel. You might think King David, whose going forth have been from old, from everlasting. So again, whose going forth have been from of old, from everlasting. That's Yahushai. Yeah. But the point is that he is in Bethlehem. He's born in Bethlehem, right? And it looks like they're born in Jerusalem. They're not. King David took over Jerusalem, and then Yahushai will establish himself through Jerusalem and in Jerusalem, And collectively, Jerusalem is talking about all 12 tribes, but it's not all 12 tribes. It's just one. And then it represents two also, which is Judah and Benjamin, but it represents actually more. It represents more Judah. Yeah, it does. But it's actually Judah and Benjamin. But Judah is the head tribe, so therefore you will think of them first, right? And also with, let me see, the 12 tribes. It doesn't represent the 12 tribes, but it does represent the 12 tribes symbolically as a whole sometimes. In the Old Testament, in Kings and stuff like that, when it says Jerusalem, it's talking about the northern tribes only. Actually Judah and Benjamin. But when it talks about Jerusalem in other chapters and stuff like that, it could talk about the whole. Sometimes it talks about the city. Sometimes, stuff like that. But, yeah. Okay. So I think I'm done with that part. And now I'm going toward the pictures and stuff like that. And let me see. Here. Psalms 48 and 1. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised is the city of our power, Yahweh, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for elevation. Situation means elevation. It's high. But you can look it up here. So it says right here. Let me see. Here, situation. Hebrew 51:31. Elevate, height. Because it's high, right? A city that is upon a high cannot be hidden. And in this case, the fort that was high, you couldn't beat it. You couldn't be, and when King David took it, he was even stronger. Okay, going on. Beautiful for height, beautiful for elevation, beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, because Yahweh was there. That was the joy of the whole earth, because the Ark of the Covenant was there. Well, it was brought into Mount Zion eventually, but I'll get to that later. I'll get to that part later. So it says here, on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. And to explain this, I go a little too very deep. Well, these are all these scriptures in here too. You can read it for yourself. I did it in another video. I'm not going to do it right now because it's going to take long. And then therefore I will now go to the video and the pictures and stuff like that, which is here. Let me see something. So first picture is Ephrath, right? Again, later on it was also called, well, Jerusalem was also called Salem, Yada wa Shalom. Okay, Ephrath, Bethlehem, and all that there, right? And then I think I have another picture, which is here, Bethlehem and Judah, two different places once more. And by the way, King David was crowned in Hebron, and then later on he came to rule in Jerusalem, and he was crowned in Hebron for 7 years, something like that, 6 years, 7 years. Was he king here? That is in second Samuel. Here, and then here, and then here, and then here. So the elders of Israel came to the king in Hebron. King David was there in Hebron, and King David reigned in Hebron 7 years, and then he came to Jerusalem and took it, and then he reigned over there in Jerusalem 33 years over all 12 tribes. Right, so going back to over here, let me see, picture times here. Okay, this one, which is let me see, Hebron. Okay, I can clear that. Let me see here once more again. Yeah, that's the same picture. Yeah, I can clear that too. So now this one. Okay, so now it might become confusing, right? I hope you could follow me. So here you had the garden, right, that was watered by the spring of Gihon, which was here. Yeah, they they broadened it because they kept on building stuff, right? People don't stay in one place. Then you had the city of David. Then you had the house of David here. Then beyond that, you had Opel, and then you had King Solomon's palace, and then you had the palace where the Ark of the Covenant was in, right? That he built for the Ark of the Covenant, right? Okay. So now let me go to over here. You had the Kidron Valley, and if you don't know what a valley is, I'll show you a few pictures what a valley is. So this was it before, right? This was only from King David's time, right? Okay. So here was another one, which is before that. So here you had the Gihon Spring, right? The Gihon Spring. It's very crazy. Until this day, 2007, something, 700 years later, it still gives water until this day in 2026 AD. I'm not making this up, right? Going on. So let me see here. Here you have it again. Gihon Spring and all that type of stuff. I'll get to the videos to show you about the Gihon Spring, right? Because if you read the scripture, you would think it's talking about the Gihon River in Mesopotamia. Because it doesn't say Gihon Spring in the Bible. It doesn't say it like that. But we know it as such. Right. Okay, let me go on with the picturing. Okay, so here above you have Mount Moriah. Above there, where King Solomon went to build the temple. Here is where he built it, right? Okay, here is, so this mountain over here is where where Abraham was actually going to sacrifice Isaac. He was going to sacrifice him there, right? And there is where King Solomon built the temple to house the Ark of the Covenant that was near the city of David. So they took the Ark from here, and then they walked all the way here to place the Ark of the Covenant there, and it stayed there afterward, because it says right here, as an example, 1 Kings 3:2, only the people sacrificed in high places. We were always on mountains. If you read the book of 1 Samuel chapter 9, you will see that we were always on mountains. We were always in high places. We were always in hills, worshiping Yahweh, on high mountain tops, on hill tops, top of the roof and stuff like that of your house, whatever. You know, high places. We did sacrifices there. Eat there. We ate food. They eat that be bidden. They eat that be bidden. High place. We did the sacrifice there. The seer came to the high place and he did the sacrifice there. And yeah, that seer is the prophet, by the way. He came down from the high place and into the city. He went from upward here where we do the worship and dancing and feasting, all that there. And then he went down to the city, which is down there, and stuff like that. You can read that all here. Top of the house, you know, he was at the top of the house and all that there type of stuff. You know, all that there, you know, right? And First Kings, so it says right here, only the people sacrificed their high places because there was no house built under the name of Yahweh until those days. So, and Solomon loved Yahweh, walking in the statue of his father, David his father. Only he sacrificed and burned incense in high places. And then he built the thing upon the house up on the top of the mountain and then that was then therefore called the house of the Lord. That was called Zion. It looks like Zion was called Jerusalem, but yeah, it is Zion collectively, as in this one. But it's actually here, this, on top of the mountain, top of the hill. Right. So there you had the mountain, the altar, and all that there. Then Pharaoh's daughter's house was there too, which is close and stuff like that, because he moved her from David place and to there. All that there. Okay, so now Kidron Valley, the gardens, Kidron Valley once more. And then this is a picture that I found online, which I can use as a great example. Here was then the valley of stuff like that, and here then was the mountain, you know, where the Ark of the Covenant and stuff like that was. And of course Jerusalem and all that there, just as an example. And then you have this 3D model again here, which this one here was David. Well, King David, his house was here actually, but this was then the city of David, you could say. This was Jerusalem and the city of David, also the fort of David and stuff like that. And here was then there for which Solomon built, so here in the back, right, which was the rest of the mountain, right, going on. Here you have a replica. You don't see the Gihon Spring here, but it's here, actually here. And I'll give you a backstory on that because I have video on that. Okay, Central Valley, you know, David's Jerusalem, Central Valley, sorry, Kidron Valley, Gihon Spring. That's the one that I was talking about. Fortress and David's Palace. It is a fortress because the Jebusites built it. Right. So it says here, how tall? I typed in how tall was the fortress when the archaeologists found it, and they said archaeologists working in the city of David in Jerusalem uncovered a massive Canaanite fortress, often called the Spring Citadel, right? Featuring, yeah, a defensive wall that is 26 feet or 8 meters high. Some places say 30 feet and stuff like that, so I don't specifically know how they measured it. I don't know. But yeah, built around 1700 BC, this towering fortification was designed to protect a fortified passway leading down to the Gihon Spring, right? Well, you can read the rest for yourself if you have the time. So it says here, 3,200-year-old Canaanite regional fortress found at the Galon. No, that's something else. I think that is what I read with the 3,000. I'm not sure because if another article they was talking about that people couldn't beat it for 3,000 years now. Well, at that time, sorry, I should say. Okay, let me just go on. Now, going to over here. Now, this is a place here, and I can show you how high the 8 feet would then therefore be. This is 3 meters. The 8 meters, sorry. I didn't say, I said feet, sorry. So, because it says, I just read that picture, that it says that the fortress that they found in the city of David, which the Jebusites built, it was like 8 meters high. So I'm going to show you what 8 meters would then therefore be. Let me see what the hell. Okay. Now every floor is 3 meters from the ground to the top. So 3 meters is here, first floor, right? Then the second floor would top at 6 meters. Then the third floor would top at 9 meters. So it's around here. And then a person, of course, would be very small. You should know that these are doors. And you should know that people are not taller than doors most of the time. So you can kind of estimate what how high it was, right? Okay, so I typed in Gihon Spring was found to have water. Yes, the Gihon Spring not only has water, but it is one of the world's most famous intermittent springs and served as a life-sustaining source that enabled the founding of the ancient Jerusalem. In the time of the Jebusites, they already had it. The Most High is beyond wonderful. He made sure that the Gihon Spring continually has I don't even know what the fuck I don't even know what to say. That's how crazy it is. Like, what? How does that water get there? That's why it's called the Gihon Spring, motherfucker. The Most High set it up. Stupid. What are you asking dumb questions for? Anyway, so I'm talking to myself. So it says right here, the founding of the ancient Jerusalem for over 5,000 years, it has continually yielded water until now. And I'll show you because I got the video right here. Until now, 2026. That's crazy, bro. So 2000 BC, that thing had water. I just kept silence there just for you to let it sink it in. Just for you to let it sink in. It has continually yielded water. Ancient water system. You can read the rest for yourself if you have the time. Right? So let me go on to the next picture, I think. This one, I don't think I need the rest. This is a replica. And this is Herod's temple, because Herod's temple has nothing to do with us. They broadened it out. Okay, they broadened it out. Okay. So back in the days, it went from here to here, and they changed a few things. If you look at the old map, and then you look at the new map, this is the new map. In the time of the Lord Yahushua, as you can see here, Herod fixed this. This has nothing to do with us. Only here you can see the remnants of the line of King David's house and all that type of King David city. Okay, I don't need to go further with this one. Right, going on back to over here, and then I think here I don't think I need this one either. These neither. Nah, I don't need this one. Where was it again? Let me see. I think it was then there for this one. No, or this one. What was that again? Sorry, I clicked something away. Gihon Spring. I don't need this. I'm gonna watch the video. I'm gonna show you the video.
If you are an ancient king and there's an invading army attacking your northern neighbor, laying siege to their capital, what would you do to prepare, knowing that they will likely...
Look, this thing is more than 5,000 years old. It's still there.
...be taken, and you are...
By the way, this is Hezekiah's what he did, but it's gonna explain in the video. But I have the scriptures for it, but I'll just show it here, because once I do the chapter, Lord willing, I'll use this same picture, this same video right here. And I made screen pictures, so I got it for myself too, Lord willing, of course.
Next on the list to be conquered. Join us today as we talk about Hezekiah and his plans. Talk about the geography. Hope to broaden your free videos, our CEI bookstore, and sacred. So Barry, when did he reign? Tell me about him.
What? Students of the Bible as one of the good kings. He was one of the kings. He was the son of a gentleman who, oddly enough, as good as Hezekiah, another one of the, and he of Sargon the 2nd BC. So he was fully aware of what the Assyrians could and would. Assyrians, they fortified the walls around Jerusalem for Judah as well. And so Hezekiah fortified the walls around Jerusalem, tried to make it harder, more difficult for the Assyrians to get in. And he also, for instance, in 2 Kings, the 20th chapter, verse 20, it says that he made the pool and the conduit, and he brought water into the city.
Okay, so now when you read that, you would understand what happened, right? Because these people spend a lot of money, millions, going doing their little research and stuff like that. We just gather it because they make it their own tongue to fall upon themselves. But don't forget that they actually see themselves when they think about these scriptures.
Normally, water from the Gihon spring,
this is the Gihon,
would have flown down an ancient channel and would have funneled into the Kidron Valley.
Yeah, and that was then there. That would then therefore be. Where did I put that one again? I think here. That would then therefore be this. Nah, I got a better one. I think this one. Nah, that one. Oh, well, here you see the garden here. Here. See? Later on, they set it up like that. So, what happened before Hezekiah? It was actually watering the garden here. I hope you can see it. You know, this is the pool here. This is the spring. And then they kind of fortified it around it and stuff like that, so that people couldn't just come and throw poison in the water, for example. Because that is what you will do when you want to start killing people, right? And then they built a fortress around it, around the waters, as you can see it here. In the middle here was the water, and here was the fortress around it. You know, it was fortified, protective, thick layers of just stone, right? And then I had the garden here. Here, the gardens and stuff like that. You know, different pictures and stuff like that. But just to get you, that's why I took a picture of them all. Not a picture. I copied them all to show them all, so that you can kind of get an image in your head. You know, just like if you have a camera here, and then you have a camera here, and then you have a camera here, all them cameras individually see something different. But if you have the footage of all of them, you can literally see a surrounded picture. You can see 360, because I just put cameras all over the place. But you are not going to see the picture. Look, if you have a, let me see, busy street. Parade, drone view. Check this out. Listen. If you have, for example, right? Let's say there was a parade and the people were walking toward this side, right? Then you put a man here with a camera here, right? You make him film stuff, right? And then you put a man maybe here. I wanted to say over here, but I'll just keep it simple then. One more here, and his camera is directed to this side, right? And then you put a man here and his camera is directed to this side, right? Okay, they're both at the same place at the same time, but they will both document different things to a certain degree, you know. And if the people were walking from left to right, and now they're walking from from forward to backward and stuff like that. But yeah, let's say they was walking to left and right and stuff like that, or from right to left. It doesn't matter. Just horizontal, right? Horizontal. Damn. I still want to have another picture actually. Let me see. No. Street parade. Busy street parade. Actually, I should put this one. Got it. This is what I want. Okay. You put a man with a camera here, right? Let me see. It's blurry. Damn it, Jongo. Okay. This one then. Nah, I want this one. Listen, I hope you can see it, man. This is a parade where people just walking, right? Fuck it, I'll take this one. You put a man with a camera here, right? And then you put a man with a camera here, right? They're both at the same place at the same time, but they will both have different footage. That's it. That's actually all I wanted. All this fucking extra shit right here. And yeah, that's it. You gonna have, just like how the Bible is written, you know. Peter was standing here, not physically, but I mean, like, he was in the same place. And Paul, he was writing about what he saw here, and Luke was writing about what he saw here, and that's why sometimes he has more details than him, and sometimes with other things he has more details than him, stuff like that, basically, right? Something like that. Anyway, let me just go on, man, because I already see. Sorry, this one, no. Fuck it. I forgot what I wanted to say. I'm sorry about that. I kept on talking shit. That's why.
And so the inhabitants of Jerusalem would have grown crops and things.
So the inhabitants of Jerusalem would have been able to grow crops. Let me repeat it again, okay?
Water from the Gihon spring would have flown down an ancient channel and would have funneled into the Kidron Valley.
Into the Kidron Valley, which is here. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was giving examples about the diagonal viewpoints, and the reasons why I have all these different pictures is because to make you see the whole picture, you know. That's why. Oh yeah. Right. You had the garden here, the Kidron Valley, and all that type of stuff, so we could water ourselves. We were sustained by Yahweh. Yeah, man. Isaiah chapter 3 shows you that we couldn't water ourselves anymore, and we couldn't make bread ourselves anymore, you know. Now we buy bread from a fucking heathen. Think about it. They school us. And by the way, this is Jerusalem, where you can see it's a lot of mountains. So that is Psalms 125 and 1 and 2. As just like, well, let me read it.